Hello, 2026 is about to start. It may have started for some of you already. So, some key political predictions for the year. Number one, from the US, I expect JD Vance to take over from Donald Trump as president of US or take over his presidential duties in March or April of 2026. I have already predicted earlier that it would be short term for Trump. He would not be able to complete his term. In my previous post earlier on my website palmistankur.com, as well as in a video, I had said that it would probably be towards the end of 2025, but later on around October November I did some more calculations, and I settled on the date of around March April 2026. Extremely likely that Trump would fall ill, would probably not be able to carry out his duties anyway, and JD Vance would take over. I do not think that it would be an assassination or anything like that. I think it would be sickness or some health reason, something like that. That's the most likely scenario, I guess. So that's for the US. Uh, India would have a very difficult year. 2026, 27, both would be very difficult years. I think the economy would face extreme trouble in 2026, 27, both of the years in India. There will be political turbulence as well at the top. I think the ruling party will face more and more difficulties, and most probably Modi wouldn't stick around. I don't know whether it's because he himself retires or something happens, but I don't foresee him sticking around for too long now anymore, and that would bring significant challenges then for the ruling party. And could be early elections in India. 2027 could have elections in India. It's possible. So that's India. China is very likely to make a move on Taiwan in 2026 or 2027. This I had said already in 2024 and 25. Already predicted that before. You can see my website parmistanku.com, and the most likely time is spring 2026 itself, just in 4 months, maybe from now in April or May, probably is the most likely time. I think very likely that China will make a move on Taiwan. Going to Russia, Putin very likely to fall down or something happens to him, or a coup most probably, yeah, something, but I don't foresee him continuing at by the end of 2026. He will not be there. I think even before July he will not be there. So, and it's just not a removal of a person, but I think Russia would go a drastic change. Probably some of the different republics of Russia would, or especially for example regions like Chechnya, yeah, they would probably rise up again and things like that. So Russia would go a new chapter in history with soon in 2026, or 27 at the most. But I think 26 is the most likely when Putin would go, and then a new chapter of Russian history would start. Russia goes through these violent upheavals from time to time. Every 80, 90 years or something like that, Russia goes through huge upheavals and completely changes the arc of history for not only for Russia, but in fact for the whole world often. So, and the Middle East, let's look at the Middle East. So, the Middle East, I think regime change will be attempted in Iran within the next 3 months. Even this week, I think, is a bit tricky for the ruling authorities of Iran. Um, but I think within the next 3 months, regime change will be attempted and may succeed as well, or at least I think the rulers of Iran may flee, or the ruler, the Ayatollah. So I think the Israel-Iran, anyway, the conflict will resume, and or at least Israel or the US, or both of them in cahoots, will strike Iran again. Very likely to do for that to happen very soon. Sudan, I think, will continue to be active in terms of violence. Yeah, we will see more violence, I guess, there. And some of the other countries, Bangladesh, I think, has a difficult future ahead for the next few years. Um Whoever wins the election may not be amenable to the people or to some of the Islamists or things like that. I think in Bangladesh, probably the country is likely to take a turn towards Myanmar style, bit of dictatorship, like maybe military Islamist kind of dictatorship, something like that. And again, that brings us back to India. India will face a lot of problems now in its neighborhood for the next few years. Significant problems for its economy as well as in its neighborhood and on its foreign policy front. In fact, overall foreign relations look on a downward spiral. So not much good news for India on any front, in fact, and political turbulence. I think, yeah, probably soon, maybe early elections and coalition governments anyway, and weak governments, and yeah, all that to happen. I don't know whether I missed out on any key region or any country. I mean, of course, I publish predictions for almost 30 countries on palmistankur.com, so you can go there and have a look at different predictions. For UAE, I have already predicted it for the next 3 years. I already predicted that a month ago, that for the next 3 years, UAE is going to go through foreign policy challenges and may make imprudent foreign policy decisions. And as you know, this is what I published 1 month ago on my website, palmistankur.com. And as you know, a few days back, there's a port in Yemen which was struck by the Saudis, and there are some tensions between the Saudis and Emiratis, even though Emiratis currently have, you can say, offered an olive branch, but I think some internal simmering is quite much there. And at a later time, probably could surface again. It remains to be seen how Iran plays this, if at all, this semi-rivalry, you can say, between UAE and Saudi Arabia. You can see more predictions on Saudi Arabia itself and other countries, and on Israel, as well as other countries on my website, palmistankur.com. Thank you. That was a very small, recap of some key geopolitical events that are likely to take place in 2026. These are predictions based on planetary movements and positions, and I am usually very right, usually very correct. Of course, I can make also a mistake, just like any other professional. I'm not a soothsayer. It's not like I'm looking in a crystal ball and seeing things happening live in front of my eyes. No, everything is math. Everything is calculations, and then, yeah, of course, it's also your own interpretation. So of course, it's not just math, but also, of course, it's my skills to interpret. But I'm not a soothsayer, so of course, yeah, sometimes I will go wrong, but mostly I go right. That is why I love my job and I continue to do it, and I hope I can help guide other people to unpick the future ahead. Happy New Year 2026 in advance. There's still a few minutes left for me to usher in the new year. Bye bye.